The third chapter of Why Don't Students Like School by Daniel T. Willingham poses the question, why do students remember everything that is on TV and forget everything I say? Information first enters your working memory. However, not all information can be stored in long-term memory, so your brain prioritizes or bets on something that it thinks it will need again. Therefore, you remember it. In education, this boils down to whatever students think about is what they remember. Keeping this in mind, the first key point is that memory is the residue of thought. Your memory is not a product of what you want to remember or what you try to remember. It's a product of what you think about. Whatever you think about, that's what you remember. In order to apply this principle, teachers need to design lessons so that students will unavoidably think about meaning. Therefore, teachers need to review each lesson plan in terms of what the student is likely to think about to ensure they are focusing on the meaning and not the extras. For example, when students are doing a research project on Newton's 3 laws and creating a presentation, the emphasis of the project should be on the student understanding of the 3 laws, not the flashy design features of the presentation. To ensure students focus more on the understanding, provide them with a rubric that emphasizes the content rather than the presentation. Also provide students with checkpoints throughout the project so you can ensure they have focused on content. The second key idea is that creative strategies need to be used when there is no meaning. Oftentimes, there is seemingly meaningless material that students must know in order to engage in more complex concepts. Background knowledge is often thought of as meaningless material, such as facts, dates, and vocabulary, but is necessary, therefore teachers must think carefully about how students can acquire this background knowledge. Teachers need to use creative strategies. One creative strategy teachers can use are mnemonic devices. Think about the order of operations. Without them, there would be several possible solutions to the same problem. They are a necessity for mathematical communication across the world and to understand more complex problems such as algebraic expressions. When you hear the phrase order of operations, PEMDAS probably comes to mind. This acronym triggers students' recall of the correct steps to simplify a numeric expression. The third key idea is that good teachers have 2 things in common. They are able to connect personally with students, and they organize the material in a way that makes it interesting and easy to understand. Willingham believes style is what students notice, and the emotional bond between student and teacher accounts for whether students learn. That's only half of the equation. Good teachers must organize ideas in a lesson in a coherent way so that students will understand and remember. For example, teachers must make learning goals and objectives clear and in student-friendly language. These should be clearly visible so students know what the end goal is. Educators must follow a logical sequence when teaching content. To connect with students, teachers could show interest in their students outside of school and be easily approachable. This could involve coaching, going to after-school functions, and greeting students as they enter the door. In conclusion, memory is the residue of thought.